woman, but the law said I was on my way through a red light. But if you saw my woman, you could understand I was just being a man. Wasn't about my light, it was about my ride. And if you saw my ride, you could dig that too, you dig? Huh? Do you really dig? Sunroof, stereo, radio, sunroof, stereo, radio, black leather boxy Sekou, you know the body's cool, but the tires are warm. Ride when the hard times come, ride when they're gone. In other words, Jack, the light was green. I can wake up in the morning without a warning, and my world could change. Blink your eyes, blink your eyes. All depends on the skin, all depends on the skin, all depends on the skin, all depends on the skin. Up to the window come the law with his hand on his gun. What's up, what's happening? I said, I guess that's when I really broke the law. He said a routine, step out the car, huh? It's just a routine, assume the position, hands up in the air. You know the routine, like you just don't care. License and registration. Deep was the night and the night did it deep, and the deep was the night and the light from the North Star on the car door. I could see deja vu, we've been through this before. Why did you stop? Somebody, somebody had to stop you. Lose. You always lose. You're undeniable. That's undeniable. This is serious. You could be dangerous. Face up. Of today, what can I say? Damn, I like that group. Jorge Sylvester on saxophone. see my woman, but the law said I was on my way to a red light, red light, red light. If you saw my woman, you're gonna understand I was just being a man. New York City, they got laws. Can't no brothers drive outdoors on certain streets at particular times, being around certain people. Yeah, they got laws. Come on. All depends on the skin. 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 Blink your eyes. Blink your eyes. All depends on the skin. Blink your all depends on the skin. 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 On guitar. And we always say with this tune, which is called Open Heart, that we feel the importance of celebrating all the things that we find in life, all the discoveries, all the wonderful surprises, but also to recognize the things or times when we lose in life as well. Realizing that that kind of recognition, you know, gives us this balance, this sense of wholeness. So in doing this project, me along with my longtime friend, collaborator, co-producer, Douglas Booth, right here on keyboard and vocals. And working on this project, which in many ways we're working on forever, trying to do this. There were two losses in particular. I mean, there were many, but there were two that really, I think, struck to the core of us. And in the CD, you will see the dedication. One is to Alan Booth, who was Doug's father, who was a musician, a friend, and supporter of this music. I called him Mr. B. He looked forward to the time when we would be able to do this recording. He passed in the midst of doing this recording. And I don't say this to you with any morbid sense. I say this just in recognition, because even though the passing has happened, we realize that those spirits and that contribution is still with us. The other was a friend and a teacher of mine by the name of Tony K. Bombara, who was a wonderful writer, revolutionary teacher, and activist, who also passed. And then just recently, I want to say this too, for poets in the room who might remember a poet by the name of Fatisha, who was a wonderful poet, lived and worked here in New York, passed about a week ago or so ago. So we do this in memory. Visiting hours are over. I walk in, heart open, yet blocked by the non-stop repeal of membrane after membrane after membrane. To the cells, to the count, peeling back the viscera, the bone, the cartilage. Here comes the equinox, fading daylight, balancing night. The world seems in remission. Its angles and edges flat as the horizon. On one side, the unshakable absences. On the other, more of the past than I care to love.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The weather's warm, but the sky is gray. And January seems like early May. I remain as I used to be, only believing half of what I see. Very little of what I heard. I couldn't believe the words. You were gone. You were gone. I couldn't believe that you were gone. Maybe this letter find you now. Yeah, yeah, in the best of spirits somehow.
The text for today is Early Miles, the Columbia years. That tone pared down to essentials. A bittersweet subtext of solids, fluids, and air somewhere between taps and reveille. Some days I forget where I parked the car. I can't find my house keys. Finally I come to believe in loss as a way of knowing. Going down, the body follows its own intelligence. It initiates each new outing in this darkness.
I went down to the war today. It feels the same, but in a different